Hello and welcome to another episode of the Contractor Grow Show. My name is Mark. I'm your host. And today I'm really excited to speak with Aaron Moore at Aaron's Garage Doors over in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. It's right down the road from where I grew up in Memphis. Aaron, thank you so much for being with us today.
Absolutely. Good to be here.
Great. So you guys have got an amazing business. I see that you've got a great website. You guys are really top ranks. Maybe you could tell us just a little bit about the story of Aaron's Garage Doors, and we could kind of get started there.
Well, started in garage doors in 1995. Worked my way from doing subcontract work for other door companies into, running my own business.
Fantastic. And I can see that you guys are really sort of top ranked. Long running business, been doing this for quite a long time. How have you guys sort of reached the level that you're at in terms of just really being the market leader? It looks like you guys have put a lot of time and energy into kind of your online presence, but have you really focused on kind of, word of mouth? And how have you guys become such a great sort of top ranked company in the market?
Well, obviously doing good work and trying to build relationships with our customers. And you're right, we spent a lot of effort focused on the internet advertising for sure. Also advertise on some local talk radio. They have very loyal listener bases, if you're familiar with talk radio.
Uh-huh.
So between those two things, those are our main marketing tactics. Now we do also, give out a lot of business cards and put a lot of stickers on doors and such. And so we get a lot of, return customers from that stuff.
Love it. So, what I've seen here, we've talked to a lot of business owners, a lot of contractors, and we've seen that a lot of contractors, they start kind of in one area like garage doors, and then they kind of expand out into remodeling, and, maybe building houses and things. I love talking with owners that are really kind of niche down. Like, this is what we do. We do it well. How have you avoided the temptation to get into sort of other things and to kind of expand out into ever expanding,
Certainly.
business of contracting and everything else that you guys can do?
We did start mainly doing new construction installations. That was kind of a focus early on, and then transitioned into more retail business as the years have gone on, and pretty much focus almost exclusively on retail business now, and very, very little with contractors anymore. As far as, trying to expand into other subcontract type businesses, no, I just, like you said, it's better to be good at one thing and stick with it than, trying to dabble in a whole bunch of different things. We certainly get asked, especially when you do good work, what you're doing, get asked, do we do anything else? Can you do anything else besides this? And, we're just not set up for it. We're set up for garage door repair and installation. So that's what we do.
I love it. And, when I see companies that have got just such a great reputation as you guys have got 195 reviews, 5-star reviews on Google, that's rare. I talk with a lot of businesses, and, we see folks with kind of 20 reviews and 30 reviews and don't have the just sort of presence that you guys have in clearly an amazing business. And so, if I can ask, I'm just curious, how have you guys sort of worked on your, even say like your sales process? And not asking for specifics here,
Sure.
but have you guys really focused on, for instance, a prospective customer calls, how do you guys approach, and Contractor Grow Show here, we have a lot of listeners, a lot of folks that are not at the level that you're at. What advice would you have for like businesses of how to handle, for instance, their sales process? If somebody calls you guys maybe after hours, or somebody, calls that's not necessarily referral, it's someone who's maybe seen a sticker on a friend's, garage door. What have you done to kind of create sort of a world-class sales process where you're like on top of it? Is there a lot of follow-up that happens? Do you guys send out emails, any kind of newsletters? What does that, and again, not necessarily the exact details, right? That's kind of you guys, sort of secret sauce, if you will. But how would someone approach sort of growing into the kind of company that you guys are, as far as the sales process with people that call that aren't necessarily referrals, like strangers, the open marketplace. How do you guys kind of deal with that or think about that?
So the process is a little bit unique, I would say, in that as myself, I'm the owner, obviously. I take the majority of those calls and prospect them to be sure that, what their issue is, what they need. I don't use a answering service or anything like that. After hours, certainly, but, regular business hours and even on the weekend to a degree, I try to catch most of the calls myself. And that personal service really, I believe, says a lot to our clientele. Anybody can have a call center taking a call.
Uh-huh.
They really, enjoy and appreciate the fact that I'm answering the call, talking to them about their problem, and can usually ascertain what the issue is before we even have to go out to look at it. Give them a rough idea of what cost is going to be, and in the event that they need to have someone come out and sell them a new door, we're very low pressure sales. We do not take the tactic that a lot of these big companies are coming in with, that upsell everything, and high pressure sales. It's very personable. What do you want? We try to understand the client and what their needs are, and obviously make a couple different selections for them if they'd like that. But ultimately, it's up to them, and we just no high pressure sales.
I love it. And yeah, I can kind of intuit that already just talking with you. So would it be fair to say that, calls come in, if it's coming in from your website or your like Google business profile, those calls are getting routed over to your phone, or maybe it's already your cell phone. Those calls reach you.
They get routed to my phone. That's correct.
Okay.
Through the process, they get routed to me directly.
Uh-huh. Amazing. So guys, if you listen to this, I've had even some very recent conversations where I've been talking with business owners and really trying to help with this process of kind of sales and sort of like, how can we tighten this up? And Aaron's got an amazing business, and still to this day, right? Calls are going directly to him. Okay. They're not getting routed around. They're not talking to, a long phone tree or maybe a secretary or whatever. And to me, that just says so many great things. It's so important that process be able to be kind of narrowed up and tightened up. And it really just says a lot about, what Aaron is doing kind of in the marketplace. Fantastic. And then in terms of, sort of projects that you guys do, do you have a number of different kinds of sort of offers, so to speak? Is it garage doors and repair, or even within that, you said you might recommend a few different products. What does kind of your product mix look like of what you guys offer? Are there higher level and kind of lower level?
Right. Obviously there's always entry level everything, no matter what it is, whether it's a car or a garage door. And if the client needs a basic entry level model, then we'll go that route. We do recommend, almost every time, that if the garage door is on their home and not on a detached garage, to try to steer them towards an insulated door, because it's going to.
Actually, Aaron, you kind of froze up there a little bit. I'm not catching your audio here. Oh, got you back here. Oh, sorry there, Aaron. Cutting out just in and out a little bit. We'll edit that out. Okay, got you back. Okay, yeah.
I don't know where we cut out at. I'm sorry.
Sure, no problem. Just regarding kind of the different levels of service, you're saying that, of course, there's kind of lower level, sort of entry level products.
If they need a lower level product, that's what we stick with. We don't try to, push them into something that's above their needs, for sure. Although we do recommend almost everybody that they get an insulated garage door if it's on the home. The energy savings alone is going to make up for that a couple $100 difference in cost they could spend on going from nothing to some insulation. But another thing is we don't always just try to sell them a new door. If they can get by with a repair, then we're going to steer them towards the repair unless they just ultimately really want a new door. Unlike so many companies, they're trying to sell them new everything.
That's great. It's fantastic. Well, and then
But we do
regarding,
mainly stick with the product that they're looking for.
okay. And can I ask, I mean, the team size that you have probably fluctuates. I mean, how many folks do you kind of have on your team? Are they subs or folks that work just directly with you guys all the time?
Anywhere from 4 to 10. Currently, we're sitting at 5, and it just depends on how busy we are, what we're focusing on. Back when we had 10, it was there was more focus on new construction, with it mainly being retail and repairs. Now it's kind of streamlined down to the 4, so it's much easier to manage from my perspective as far as answering all the phone calls and taking care of the scheduling and meeting with people and everything, for sure. You get too many people, then you just can't do everything, obviously.
Sure. And then regarding, we talk with folks a lot about contractors, about the kind of team. And I mean, in the last few years, there has been the last, 8 years really, until maybe a year ago, it was really a massive bottleneck around hiring and retaining team.
Sure.
I mean, the better the company, the better the team they're typically able to retain.
Right.
But I mean, turnover of team is always, a consideration. I mean, it takes a
It's
lot
challenge.
longer. Yeah, it seems to take a lot longer for folks to get a new person kind of up to speed, and where they can really go out and execute your vision and really take care of and service customers the way that you want them to be serviced. Can I ask just about the sort of the process of kind of training new team members? So I mean, you may have a lot of veterans on your team. I imagine you probably do have people that have been with you have most of your team been with you guys for a long time?
Yes, and when we bring somebody new on, most often they already have experience, and so you're just
Okay.
kind of refining what they already know to doing it how you want it done and to your standards. But and occasionally you do bring in somebody that has no experience, and then they basically are a helper for 6 months or a year or whatever it takes until they are up to speed. Most recently had a gentleman that's come to work for me that spent almost a year as a helper before we were comfortable with him going out and doing stuff on his own. So yeah, it is a process for sure.
Fantastic. And then regarding, guys, if you're listening to this, a lot of gems in this, listen to this interview again, like in our research that we've done, Aaron is absolutely a leader in Mount Juliet and the surrounding areas. And what he's talking about here is absolute gold, and very grateful for you to be here, Aaron, sharing the story. Regarding kind of your online presence, I mean, we've taken a look, you guys, rank at the top of Google for, I mean, you guys are clearly the market leader in your area. So meaning if someone types in, garage door Mount Juliet, you guys are number one. I imagine your Google business profile also comes up, and people see all your great reviews. What has been your process? And let me say, few owners understand this as well as you do. I mean, the results speak for themselves. I can see it right here in the research we did for this interview. So, what have you done, and how have you approached that? I mean, literally 1 out of 20 people that I talk with really understand this, I think, as well as you do. How have you understood that marketing is so important? I mean, this has required a big investment on your part. How have you approached that, and how do you look at marketing the business, and kind of how important it is to a contractor's success to be able to be found and to just represent yourself really well on a nice website? And I mean, what's your approach to all that?
I try to give every new idea an opportunity or a chance to show me that it's going to work, whether it be review solicitation or reputation management or AdWords, or whether it's, Facebook marketing, or, another social media type marketing. You just have to not be afraid to try something that you haven't tried before. And if you can be on the front end of that, you're going to stay ahead of your competition. So I always listen whenever somebody calls. I give them opportunity before I just hang up on them, and give them opportunity to tell me a little bit about what they're pitching, and why they're different, and why I should listen. And then from there, I make my decision. If it's something I feel like, could have some benefit, we're going to give them opportunity.
I love it. And am I correct in assuming that some of the things that you've tried haven't worked? I mean, you've
Absolutely
spent,
not.
yeah,
My typical rule of thumb is, 3 months minimum on anything I try. Give it a chance to try and take some, direction for us. And if it doesn't, or if I see some just not what we're looking for, I might give it 6 months before I pull the trigger. But, I always, bare minimum, you got to give it 3 months, or it's not going to have any traction to get going. And certainly there's been quite a few things that have not worked, or just didn't work for us. And they can work for other people. That doesn't mean that they won't work. They just didn't work for us for whatever reason.
That is fantastic. And then regarding you mentioned review solicitation. You guys have got 200 reviews, almost 200 reviews,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely top notch. People mentioning you guys by name, mentioning your team members by name, and you write it, 5 stars. What is the process? I mean, when you go out, what is your direction, if you will, to your team members, or however this happens for you,
Mm-hmm.
such that you solicit reviews, you guys go out and do a great job for someone. What's kind of the timing of it, and how do you, politely ask for, hey, would you be willing to give us an honest review over here of what your experience was?
Right. So, the team members definitely, the goal is to make sure everybody's happy when you're done. If you got to take 5 extra minutes or 10 extra minutes to go through and, tighten a bolt or adjust something a little bit, even though, maybe not being wrong with it, but they want it to be perfect. And so you try to make it perfect for them. And once you've, got to the point where you're satisfied that you've done everything you can to make them happy, and, and everybody's said they're having nice days, and that works out for everybody, that's great. And then I send a text message with a link to our Google My Business profile where they can, write a review.
Mm-hmm.
I have used third-party review services in the past where they kind of filter out, negative reviews and such, or give you an opportunity to at least respond to them, try to resolve any issue beforehand. It's a little inorganic to me, so I've gone back to just, straight sending them the link. Occasionally you're going to get somebody that's not happy. That's kind of more natural to me, and I, welcome the opportunity to try to make them happy if that's the case.
Amazing. In the work that you guys, and just trying to cover the bases here for how we are always talking with contractors about some minimums that may be needed in terms of a business model. What is your approach to any kind of money back guarantee? Is that something that's stated? I think there's maybe some kind of implicit money back guarantee stuff that happens just kind of in the contracting space. But do you guys emphasize that, or is that a part of your sales process at all, or is it just not even really come up?
It's not. No, we just, like I said, we focus on just trying to make everybody happy when we're done. And whenever there is any issue where somebody needs to go back, I end up going back myself. I don't send the team back out there. I show up and, I remedy whatever the issue is, and people appreciate that. I don't necessarily, it has to be the owner of the company that does it, but some sort of leadership needs to be the one that goes out there and handles any sort of, questions that people have, or they do have a real problem, and, addressing those problems. So that's how I've focused on it.
That's fantastic. And then regarding last question or two here. You guys have got a really stable business, and you've got your team working. You've been up at 10 team members. Now you're down to sort of, 4 to 6 or so. I talk with some folks, they're not necessarily in the growth mindset. They're just kind of like, look, this works great for us, whether space or office space, our team. Do you predict you guys, or are you looking for you guys to kind of grow over the next year?
Sure,
I mean, always kind
definitely.
of growing. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not looking to expand, you're going to contract. You have to, yeah, I think you have to kind of have that in the back of your mind to be growing, because if you're going to evolve and and keep up, even the only way to keep up is going to be to keep growing, and that may or may not be with necessarily more team members, but it might be some other avenue that you're going to have to grow. I certainly try to be flexible and go with whatever the situation. Because if it means we need more help, then we need more help. If we need to scale back, then we scale back. I don't feel like you can be too rigid on that. You have to be flexible, in my opinion.
Fantastic. Okay, so we've covered so much great stuff in this relatively short interview, but I just want to kind of like bring up just a few highlights here. So Aaron, with his amazing business here, Aaron's Garage Doors, he's really focused on his specific area. He's focused on a very specific niche that they're just very good at. I'd love to hear that. Really focused on customer service, top notch. That's typically what we hear, but I see it also in the results and just the kind of glowing reviews. Aaron's company's got almost 200 reviews that are 5-star. That's partly because it's inevitably because of the great work that they do, but it's also because he has specific focus on kind of soliciting after jobs are done, after the punch list is done, after everyone's happy, sending a text message, very simple, says, hey, would you be willing to give us an honest review over here, what your experience was, and he's also available on the phone to take calls, right? And so sort of owner-led sales, I call that, where Aaron's not getting very far away from that. He's like, look, you're talking directly to the owner of the company, and folks feel great about that. I think sometimes companies try to get away from that too soon. But here, after all these years, Aaron is still taking calls, go to his cell phone, sometimes answering those on weekends, right? And so there's just a lot of gems in here. Fantastic, Aaron. Well, if folks are in the Mount Juliet area surrounding and they want to get in touch with you guys, what are a couple of the best ways to reach out?
Certainly the website, if there's a link on there, you can send us an email, more details about what you need or anything, or absolutely just give a call and I'll answer the phone.
Fantastic. So that website is, Aaron's Door Service. So AARONS doorservice.com in Mount Juliet. Fantastic. Well, Aaron, thank you so much for taking time with us today to teach us about your success, and great talking. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
You as well. Have a good day.